Hello friends, welcome to the class of high voltage engineering. So in previous lectures we have discussed about the generation of high voltages and high currents in high voltage laboratories. So generally if we are considering the basic need of high voltage laboratory is to analyze the quality of the high voltage insulations and that of the equipment. So generally the evaluation of the quality can be determined or can be conducted once we determine the various variables which can help us to identify about its quality behavior when there is an impact of over voltage stresses. So not only establishing the generation techniques, but to it is very important to establish the measurement part as well, because without having the metering components we cannot evaluate the quality of the insulation. Okay, let me give you one very sweet example, that if suppose I want to determine the breakdown voltage capacity of a liquid dielectrics, then what it needs the measuring component, so that I can able to measure the breakdown voltage of particular liquid on which I am conducting the breakdown voltage test. So the magnitude of that dielectric strength can be determined by providing the various kinds of measuring instruments in high voltage laboratories. So in today's lecture we are discussing about the various measuring methods which usually you can see in the high voltage laboratories to fulfill our goal of testing. So as we know that there are various types of high voltages under whose influence we can test our insulation. So like DC voltage, AC voltages at power frequency and AC voltages at high frequencies. So DC voltage can be measured either by means of series resistance microammeter, which is very simple technique to measure the high voltage DC, then resistance potential divider, generating voltmeter, sphere gaps and other spark gaps. So these are the four basic methods which you can usually see in high voltage laboratory for the purpose of measuring the high DC voltages. Whereas AC voltage at power frequency can be measured by means of series impedance emitter, potential dividers, it may be resistive type or capacitive type, potential transformers, it may be electromagnetic PTs or it may be CVT, which is known as capacitive voltage transformer, electrostatic voltmeter and sphere gaps. The high frequency, high voltage AC, impulse voltages or even other rapidly changing voltages can be measured by means of potential divider with CRO. Okay, that potential divider may be the resistive type, capacitive type, or even you may use a combination of R and C, peak voltmeters and sphere gap. So these are the sort of the methods through which you can measure the various types of voltages in high voltage laboratories. Based on their magnitudes you can determine the quality of insulation, as well as sometimes you can also predict its life. Out of all these methods you can see the sphere gap method is one of the very basic method which you can apply to measure any of the voltage level. So the method of this sphere gap is do not have the dependency over the type of the voltage. Okay, so with the help of these sphere gaps you can measure any type of voltage levels in the high voltage laboratories during the testing. So let us start with the first method, series resistance with microammeter. Okay, so usually this method is used to measure the high DC voltages in the high voltage laboratories. So whatever the resistance is or the resistors are being used are varies from few hundred ohms to several mega ohms. Okay, so as we are talking about the measurement of the high voltages, so normally the resistance which you need to select should be in terms of mega ohms. So it is usually connected in series with the high voltage source, and as the value of the resistance is being in terms of mega ohms, so it will allow you to measure the current in terms of microamperes only. So normally the micro emitter is connected, or the simple emitter is connected, which can record the microampere scale in series with this high mega ohm resistance. So here you can see how it will be connected to have the measurement. So here you can see this R will represents the high magnitude of resistance which is connected directly with this high voltage source, and in series with the resistance to for the purpose of measurement one micro emitter or the emitter is connected. Now to provide the protection to this metering component, one protecting device is connected across it. So it is simply a uh, one kind of the neon paper tube. Okay, it is simply a paper kind of the arrangement. So if suppose the flashover takes place during the testing over the surface of this high voltage resistor, or if sometimes the resistance gets failed, then the short circuit current is flowing through this emitter, so it may damage this emitter. So to protect this emitter against the short circuit current conditions, the protective device is used. So as you know that during the abnormal condition, this protecting device offers a zero resistance path, so that faulty current will now change its path and flowing through this protective device, and at the end it will be grounded. So this is how it will provide the protection. So protective device is usually connected in parallel with this emitter to have the protection against the failure of the resistance during the testing. Okay, so only the current flowing through this large calibrated resistance is measured by this moving coil micrometer. So normally this resistance is made up by connecting small resistors in series. Okay, so ideally you cannot have the single element of the resistance of a larger magnitude, but it will be designed by connecting so elements in series to obtain high mega ohm resistance. So voltage can be determined by applying a simple Ohm's law. V is equal to I into R. So I can be measured from this microampere scale. Okay, the resistance value that you know, so only the unknown quantity which is voltage can be calculated from this formula. V is equal to IR. So generally this method is used for measurement of 500 kilovolt DC with an accuracy of 0.2%. But the drawbacks are, as this is a resistive element, so there always be the power dissipation. Okay, it is also acting as a load for the source, so it always create the source loading. So while you are selecting this resistance for the measurement purposes, you need to consider these 2 points. As you know that the resistance is made up of a conducting material, so there always be the influence of temperature. So any variation in temperature will allow to change in the resistance, so it directly affects on its long time stability as well. Okay, it is also sensitive towards the mechanical stresses, because when the high voltage is applied, there always be the mechanical vibrations, and those mechanical vibrations will changes the length and the cross sectional area due to the experiences of the tensile compressive stress. So this tensile compressive stresses are responsible for changing its resistance value. So as the resistance value is going to be changed, it will introduces the error. So these are the three basic disadvantages always associated with the pure resistance kind of the measurement technique. For the DC measurement, we are using series resistance with micrometer, but for the for the AC measurement, the series impedance voltmeter is being used. So for power frequency AC measurement, the series impedance may be a pure resistance or the reactance is used. So generally the reactance type of method is used to measure the power frequency AC voltage. So previously we have considered a simple resistance, as we are applying DC voltage. We can apply the simple Ohm's law, but for the AC circuits we cannot use that direct equation to determine the unknown magnitude of voltage. Now if you are closely looking, if you are looking to the resistive element, then they are made up of a wire wound kind of elements. Okay, so as we are considering wire wound, so we need to consider the inductance as well as the capacitance. So this will be the simple equivalent circuit of that resistance, which is intended to measure the high voltage AC at power frequency. So we need to consider its equivalent circuit, which needs the representation of the inductance as well as the capacitance. So series resistance, okay, we have seen the drawbacks. It involves the power loss, and often a capacitor is preferred as series reactance. So once we are using the capacitor instead of using the resistances, then it reduces the chances of the power losses. The another thing is the high resistance. There always be a variation of resistance with the temperature is problem, and of course the residual inductance of resistance gives rise to the impedance, which is quite different from its ohmic resistance value. So this is the problem or drawback associated with the use of a simple resistive kind of method. So at any frequency omega of AC voltage, the impedance of resistance is given by this. Okay, we need to apply the formula V is equal to Iz. So Z you need to calculate by using this formula. Z is equal to R plus J omega L upon 1 minus omega square LC plus J omega CR. So this equation will come from the equivalent circuitry. So when you solve this equation, when you solve this circuit, you will get the impedance. Okay, but due to the involvement of this inductance, residual inductance, it will always giving rise to an impedance which is different from its ohmic value. So the series impedance voltmeter can also be considered as not a sufficient method or not an accurate method for the measurement of the high voltages. So what would be done? Okay, so normally this is the extended series resistance for the high voltage AC measurement. So let us quickly see about this technology. So for the extended and the large dimension resistance, actually this equivalent resistance is not valid. So each element resistor has to be approximated at its equivalent circuit. So here you can see this method. Okay, this method cannot be validated or valid for the measurement of not validated for the extended and large dimension resistance. So to uh, draw the accurate equivalent circuit, each of the element has to be approximated as its equivalent circuit. So here you can see it will represented like this. Okay, this capital R, that will show you the total resistance, but if you are drawing its equivalent circuit, then it will looks like this. So for the entire resistor unit then has to be taken as transmission line equivalent for calculating the effective resistance. Okay, so once we are solving this equivalent circuit, you will get the actual value of this R. So it looks like the equivalent circuit of transmission line, where you can observe the resistance as well as the capacitances. So capacitances are the stray capacitances as well as the ground capacitance. So also the ground or the stray capacitance for each element influence the current flowing in the unit, and the indication of the meter will result in error. Okay, let us first eliminate these RA components. Okay, we are not considering this RA. So as you can see in this extended version of this equivalent circuit, So there is an influence of this stray capacitance and the ground capacitance, and because of this capacitors involvement, whatever the reading that you are obtaining over this microammeter scale is erroneous. Okay, so there always be the error. So what could be done to eliminate this error? So stray and ground capacitance effects can be removed by shielding the resistance R by the spiral resistors RS. Okay, so here you can see the effect of this great ground capacitance and the stray capacitance can be eliminated by covering this resistance. Okay, so once we are covering it, we can eliminate the effect of, or once we are providing the shielding to this high voltage resistors, high voltage resistor, the effect of the ground capacitance and the stray capacitance can be eliminated. So what it actually does, it will shunt the actual resistor but does not contribute to the current through the instrument. Okay, so errors associated with this ground capacitance and the stray capacitance can be eliminated by shielding the resistor, the high voltage resistor. So this RA represents the tuning resistor. So by tuning the resistor RA, the shielding resistor and potentials may be adjusted with respect to the actual measuring resistor, so that the resulting compensation current between the shield and the measuring resistor provides the minimum phase angle. So ultimately, with the help of this tuning resistor, the error can be reduced to 0, so that this microammeter can give the actual value of the current which is being passed through this high voltage resistor. So RA is for the purpose of tuning, okay, and that is the variable resistor, so that you can also eliminate the error which may produce because of the shielding resistors. The another one is the series capacitance voltmeter. So in a previous method, we are likely to connect the resistances in series with the high voltage source, whereas in case of series capacitance voltmeter, you can see the capacitor is connected in series with the source. So normally here you can measure the RMS value of the current. So specifically this method is applied for the measurement of the high voltage AC at power frequencies. So to avoid the drawbacks associated with series impedance voltmeter, the series capacitor is used instead of resistor for the AC high voltage measurement. Okay, here we can avoid the problems associated with the resistors. So current through the meter, okay, IC, that is given as J omega CV. Okay, IC is equal to J omega CV, where omega represents the angular frequency, C represents the capacitance of the capacitor, and V, that is the voltage being supplied. So this IC value can be measured from this meter, and by using this formula you can determine the value of unknown magnitude of voltage. Okay, the function of protective gap is to protect the meter against the high magnitude surges during the testing. So if the AC voltage contains the harmonics, if suppose the AC voltage contains the harmonic, then error due to change in series impedance occurs. So RMS value of the voltage with harmonics is given by this formula. V is equal to square root of V1 square plus V2 square plus 2 Vn square. Okay, so this equation can be utilized only when your source contains the harmonics. So under this situation, the current due to the harmonics is given by I1 is equal to omega CV1, I2 is equal to 2 omega CV2, In is equal to n omega CVn, where n represents the harmonic number. So resultant current, of course, it is omega c into square root of V1 square plus 4V2 square plus 2 plus n square Vn square. Okay, so this will be the equation of the current when your source contains the harmonic. So here you can see that the current value is proportional to the voltage. Okay, so once you have the measurement of the current value by using the equation, you can easily calculate the unknown magnitude of voltage. So advantage of this meter is that whatever the problem that we are facing with series impedance voltmeter, we can eliminate those disadvantages. So series capacitance voltmeters were used with cascade transformers for measuring the RMS voltage up to 1000 kilovolt. The series capacitance, how it will be formed in cascade transformer, so it will be formed as parallel plate capacitor between the high voltage terminal of transformer and the ground plate which is suspended above it. Okay, so between the high voltage terminal and the ground plate, there is a formation of this parallel plate capacitor, and it is useful for the measurement of 1000 kV. So if you are considering the connection of the cascaded transformer, where the first transformer have three uh, three windings, the secondary windings, actually the secondary winding is constructed as a whole, but it will be distributed into three parts, out of which one is the excitation winding, second is the high voltage winding, and third one is the metering winding. Okay, so that metering winding is help us in taking the measurement of the voltage. So there is a formation of this parallel plate capacitor. Okay, so one is with respect, the parallel plate capacitor is formed with respect to the high voltage terminal and the ground plate. Okay, so that is a simple series capacitance voltmeter which help us to measure the voltage magnitude of the cascade transformer. So rectifier emitter was used as indicating instrument and was directly calibrated in terms of high voltage RMS value. Okay, so it simply follows the previous equation. Okay, so generally you have the diode. So diode is acting as one sort of the protecting device which protects the metering component against the short circuit currents. The meter was usually measure 0 to 100 microampere with an error of about 2%. So most extensively used method in high voltage laboratories for the measurement of high voltages are either the resistance potential divider or the capacitance potential divider. So here you can see how they looks like. So here you can see this is the outdoor application and this is the indoor application. So the influence of temperature and voltage on the voltage on elements is eliminated in the voltage divider arrangement. Okay, which is the problem associated with a single element or the series resistance or series impedance voltmeter. So the influence of the temperature and voltage on the elements can be eliminated in voltage divider arrangement. So when sudden change in the voltage, like switching operations or the flashover of the test object, or if the source gets short circuit, it may cause the flashover or damage to the voltage divider element due to the stray capacitance across the elements and due to the ground capacitance. Okay, this will be the problem. So how we can avoid this? To avoid this transient voltage, the voltage controlling capacitors are connected across each of the elements so that it will allow the uniform distribution of the potential across each and every element of the resistance potential divider. Okay, the another is a corona free termination can also be provided to avoid the unnecessary discharge at the high voltage ends. Okay, here you can see this is the corona ring. Okay, just to avoid the unnecessary discharge at the high voltage end. So potential dividers are made with 0.05% accuracy up to 100 kilovolt, with 0.1% accuracy up to 300 kilovolt, and with better than 0.5% accuracy for 500 kilovolt. So here you can see the exact circuit, equivalent circuit of the potential divider. So this is your high voltage resistor. This will represent the R1. Okay, so you can see that the presence of the stray capacitances and the ground capacitances, so they are allowing the uniform distribution of the voltage across each and every element so that it can protect them against the flashover. Okay, so simply over here ESV, that will represents the electrostatic voltmeter. The requirement of this electrostatic voltmeter is to measure the voltage drop available across the low voltage arm of this potential divider. So this R1 is your high voltage resistor which is connected directly with the high voltage source, and the metering component or the meter which is connected across the low voltage arm. Okay, so unknown magnitude of voltage can be calculated from this formula. V1 is equal to V2 into R1 plus R2 divided by R2, where V2 is can be read by this ESV. R1, that is your high voltage resistor, R2 that is your low voltage resistor. So by applying this formula you can determine the unknown magnitude of voltage. The another method is the capacitance potential divider. So in previous one, as the name suggests, resistance potential divider, it means the resistances are used. Here the capacitance potential divider, so you can see the capacitors. Okay, so this is how they are looks like. So this is your capacitance potential divider arrangement. So this is the high voltage capacitor C1, this is the low voltage capacitor C2. ESV is the electrostatic voltmeter. P stands for the protecting gap, which is used to protect the electrostatic voltmeter. Okay, so C1 is standard compressed gas high voltage condenser or capacitor. C2 is standard low voltage capacitor. ESV is electrostatic voltmeter. P stands for protective gap, and C dot C, that is your connecting cable. So the errors due to the harmonic voltage can be eliminated by the use of capacitive voltage divider with electrostatic voltmeter or the high impedance voltmeter. So if the meter is connected through a long cable, its capacitance also taken into the consideration for the calibration purpose. So usually the standard compressed air or gas condenser is used as C1, whereas C2 low voltage capacitor may be of mica, paper or any low loss capacitor. So as you can see that the C1 is 3 terminal capacitor. Okay, as you can see over here, one terminal is connected with the low voltage capacitor, the other terminals are connected with the box which is grounded. Okay, and the other terminal is connected to the outer junction of this connecting cable. So C2 is completely shielded in a box to avoid the effect of stray capacitances. So unknown magnitude of voltage can be calculated from this formula, where V1 that is your high voltage. Okay, V2 that is the voltage which is being measured by this electrostatic voltmeter, voltage drop across the low voltage capacitor. C1 that is the capacitance of high voltage capacitor. C2 is the capacitance of the low voltage capacitor. Cm that represents the equivalent capacitance of the meter as well as the connecting cable. So V1 is equal to V2 into C1 plus C2 plus Cm divided by C1. So this equation will give you the magnitude of the unknown voltage. So generally in high voltage laboratories, the measurement can be adopted either by using the resistance potential dividers or the capacitance potential divider. So in next lecture we will see the more methods, okay, for measurement of the high voltages. So up to this, as you can see that whatever the methods we have discussed, like the series resistance micrometer, series impedance voltmeter, resistance potential divider and capacitance potential divider, they all need a physical connection with the high voltage source. So if we are considering the safety, or the electrical shock, then these methods are dangerous. Okay, so up to certain level of the voltage magnitudes we can use any of the method, but where the voltage level is tremendously large, we need to select an option to measure the higher voltage isolately. Okay, so the in next lectures we will see the methods which can provide the complete isolation between the high voltage source and the person who is handling those devices, as well as the isolation between your metering equipment as well as the high voltage source, okay, which are not feasible with the methods which we have seen up till now. Okay, so this is all about the series resistance micrometer method, series impedance voltmeter, resistance potential divider, and capacitance potential divider. Thank you.